Oh. Hello. Hello,
Hello,
peaceful.
how are you?
Sorry. Oh,
I
Aneesa.
did it
Oh,
wrong. Wait,
Aneesa. I love you.
I'm so professional. Wait. Isn't it supposed to be like,
Okay.
that's it?
Oh no, I'm doing it the wrong way. Anyway, hello, peaceful parents and calm kids. I'm here having a lovely time, as you can see already, with Aneesa Chaudhry, who's our guest speaker today, and we were just having a little chat before we went live then, and then started messing about a little bit. So sorry about that. Well, we're not sorry. We're having a very nice time. So
You enjoy life, haven't you, in lockdown?
you've got to enjoy yourself. So Aneesa Chowdhury's here with us today. Apologies first about that late post and promotion, but I was away camping and it was a bit tricky to get in touch with Aneesa. So I do apologise, but she's here with us now. So I'm going to let Aneesa introduce herself, and then we're going to have a little bit of a chat with you guys. But Aneesa, introduce yourself, and then I'll carry on with what I'm going to say.
I want a drum roll.
Oh no, it's wibbling the computer.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Laura. It's really lovely to meet you and your wonderful group. Really excited to be here. I have to say, I really admire what you do and how you do it. I really like how you come across. So this is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to, finding out a bit more about what your group's about and then telling you a little bit about what I do. So
Yes,
give me
so
a tiny bit of insight.
okay, so we are peaceful parents, calm kids, and we're all about having a community and helping each other out around those parenting challenges that we all face, and how, as parents, we are the ones that can create this atmosphere in the home and this respect and this emotional intelligence that allows our children to grow up being calm in the face of what life throws at them, really. And yeah, so that's what we sort of are about. And I've never run a Facebook group before, and I'm really enjoying it. I always thought, oh, how do people do it and all of that? But I must say, I really enjoy it. And whilst I'm just talking about that, let me just
Yeah.
do the housekeeping. If anyone comes on live with us, say hello in the comments. On the post, it tells you that you've got to click on the link, and you should be able to let StreamYard give access so that we can see your name. So if anyone is with us live, then if you do that. If not, it just comes up as Facebook user, so we'll just have to call you Facebook user. But do feel free, as always, to ping any questions or comments to Aneesa or myself. I'm sure Aneesa is happy to answer any. And if you watch on replay, #replay, so that it pops up and lets us know. But Aneesa, why I was really interested in getting you to talk in our group today was because a while ago I was doing some posts and I did a live about using non-violent communication, which is sort of techniques and strategies around really effective communication that we can have with regards to having those difficult conversations with co-parents and potentially with children as well, especially older children and teens. But I had really great sort of response, and a lot of people reaching out to me sort of saying, oh my goodness, I find these conversations, I get really anxious, I don't feel like I'm being heard, I don't feel confident in having them. And of course my mind immediately went to you and the amazing work that I know that you do, and that's really why I was really keen to have you come and chat to us, because I know it's totally your expertise. So I wonder if you can talk to us a little bit more about what you do, and maybe just a few little top tips that you might have to help people find that inner voice and be confident in maybe it might not even just be about parenting. Maybe it's of course also maybe at work or any performance or interview or, you know, whatever it might be. So, yeah, I'll let you talk now and I'll be quiet.
Wow, what a fantastic move. And yeah, thank you. So many exciting questions to answer and where to start. So first of all, I suppose if I take you back a little bit, just to give you a bit of an oversight of my journey, just to kind of give a bit of context. So I'm Asian, trained as a lawyer, barrister actually, many years ago, about 20 years ago, which is not an unusual thing for an Asian lass to do. I didn't do it because I was forced to do it. I did it because I wanted to stand up for the underdog and give a voice to the voiceless. What I found when I was there in that whole training world for about 6 years, in the beginning of the whole kind of training process, was the environment didn't resonate with me. So I was there doing the training, doing the advocacy work, doing opinion writing and drafting and, you know, kind of living my life, but thinking I'm not really enjoying this environment. And that's not to say that that wasn't incredible work that was happening, but I just didn't feel that who I was, my self-expression and being authentic was going to happen in that space. I wasn't going to thrive there. So I decided to take some of those skills and bring them into the community. So I decided to work much more in the voluntary sector with groups who have kind of like grassroots groups with lots of volunteers who want to make a difference within their own communities. And so that was a really nice kind of inroad into taking the skills that I'd learned around giving a voice to the voiceless, but not in court or not in, I don't know, maybe a prison cell taking someone's defense statement or something like that. So incredible work does happen there, but it's a bit like the medical profession. You don't need to be a consultant in theatre to make a massive difference in someone's life. Just simply that phone call where you go to a GP and they actually talk you through what the issue is and help diagnose. And even the nurses, I mean, I'm having some incredible conversations with nurses over this lockdown period, and everyone is skilled. Every single one of you has a skill, and you have to just find the right way to shine your light. So that's what my mission was, to say, I know that I want to make a difference in the world. I want to help people, but that's not the place that I want to do it. So where else can I do it? Where else can I do it? For me, it was the community, grassroots up, helping individuals, everyone from, there was a very multicultural and diverse community where I worked originally in the voluntary sector. That was North Kensington. So yeah, everyone from like the Moroccan community to the Portuguese community, and then you've got, that's North Kensington, and then you've got the south of the river, where it's very sort of white, male, middle class. Not just, there was a plethora of other diversities as well. But being an Asian woman, doing what I did, there weren't many of us. I think I was the only one. So, but it was a fantastic way to kind of hone my skills and learn how to impart some of my knowledge and skill. And then actually, equally, I decided after some years that I wanted to be a professional singer. So having trained in law, as you do. I mean, music's always been in my blood, and I was really fortunate because my parents wanted me to learn about anything that kept me off the field smoking and drinking with all the others. And to be honest, it was one of the best gifts that they gave me and my siblings, because once you've got music or sport or drama, you've always got that for yourself. No one can take it from you. So for me, it was singing and finding a way to be self-expressed and just thinking, I want to shine, and I know I can sing. I can sing classically really high up, top A, B, C's, but actually I want to sing down in a more earthy area in jazz. And I met some amazing musicians, fantastic, like Latin jazz pianists and Uruguayan percussionists, and formed my own band and thought, what I realized was you don't need permission. You don't need permission from people to tell you what you can and can't do in life. And that's it's really liberating, but it's also quite scary because then the ball is totally in your court. But so where that kind of brings me in terms of, a group like this, where we're talking about people feeling perhaps unable to speak up sometimes or be self-expressed, is to say, people like Laura, people like myself, we're coaches, we can help you along that journey. And we're really passionate about helping you fulfill that ambition or dream. So for me, it's about saying, I'm a voice and performance coach, and I will help you get to a place of, I can't, or, oh my gosh, I'm feeling too scared, the fear is just so massive, I feel petrified, to, okay, I'll walk with you as we do this. And that's what I really like about my approach, which, sounds a bit big-headed, but actually I do, because a lot of training that's happening at the moment online is training where you buy maybe a package or a course, and then you jump onto Facebook and you watch someone telling you what the course material is, and you go off and do it, and then you come back and maybe ask some questions, but there's not that direct training, which I think for developing a skill like public speaking or presenting is essential. So when I do my coaching, I do it on Zoom or face to face, because I want to see what's going on in your eyes. I want to see what's happening in your physicality, and then equip you with the tools to help you get through what shouldn't feel like a really traumatic experience, but is. And so it's that whole thing of saying, all right, what's going on for you here and now? Where does it start? And for a lot of people, it's here. It's in your mind. It's what we call mindset. Saying, I don't believe I can do this. I've got lots of thoughts and feelings and emotions that are really so massive that they're preventing me from moving forwards. And it sounds like a really kind of theoretical and clinical way of looking at it, but actually it does start there, because I said to you, go and speak to the head of year about what's going on with your child, and you didn't have the confidence to do that, you didn't feel like you were being heard, then you probably wouldn't do it. But also the impact really permeates massively on your child's life, on your life, on your family life, on their experience at school, on their development of someone who feels like change can happen, for the better good. So it's really important that people feel equipped and able to make those changes in their lives. And it can be something as simple as saying, right, when you feel this fear, take your finger and thumb, put your, take that middle finger there, put your thumb in it, and press the nail in. So you can feel a bit of discomfort. It doesn't have to hurt you, you just have to be really aware of it. And if you're feeling nervous, then with that heartbeat that's pounding really hard, that energy is moved elsewhere, and it's this little physicality just here instead. So it's just simple things like that you can employ. I know!
Aneesa, I'm just going to have to say a few things now, because I think that's amazing. That is so simple and so I can't think of the word. But it's unobtrusive, isn't it? It's something that you can do that isn't obvious. And I suppose it's just that it's sort of anchoring you, isn't it? And bringing, like you say, it's sort of transferring that energy, that sort of, heightened state to there. That's really, really a great tip. And I love how you've talked about, this. I've heard Aneesa sing, guys, and she's amazing. Aneesa, I want to be a singer.
You're a singer.
I'll get round to it one of these days. But your background of, starting off being a barrister and wanting to give a voice to the voiceless, but then it not really, you didn't find your tribe, it didn't resonate with you. And then, this path that you've sort of like followed and coming to this point now where you're really about walking that journey alongside your clients, which I think is so important. And like you said, seeing the physicality, because I can think of so many situations in my life where I didn't handle a conversation. I'm thinking more of my personal life, but I also, in our professional lives as well. But I'm thinking in my personal life where I let those emotions sort of take control of how I dealt with those sorts of difficult conversations, and perhaps afterwards really didn't feel good about the way I handled it. And then maybe in my professional life, maybe not feeling confident enough at times to maybe sort of stand up for, whatever it was, or sort of really truly say what I felt. And I reckon there's probably everyone sort of can think about those times in their life where actually being able to prepare for, something, or being more confident and having these little tips and tricks as well, like that, would really, really help. So sorry, I had to say all that then. But
it's nice to hear that. It resonates with a lot of people, isn't it? That you think, I wish I'd known this, I could have done it differently, I could have done that better. And as we become, as we step into adulthood, was saying to my friend yesterday, it's so blimmin' tough being an adult. You've got all this responsibility. And, you know, you can't just like stop because you feel like it, because you've got children or you've got clients or something. You have to be responsible and bring your best to the situation. And that's why I love the work I do, because it's really real. So it's not just about the work environment. So if we took the working environment and said, okay, how can voice and performance coaching help there? I mean, so many people do training to help them improve upon that skill because they're petrified, literally. The idea of getting up and speaking and being heard in a meeting is like, no, I don't want to do it, don't want to do it. I'm just going to grin and bear it to the end. But imagine if you felt equipped, you could, you know, call upon certain techniques to give you the feeling of empowerment, get up and say what you want to say, so you felt heard and it wasn't traumatic, you know? And then in your private life, like I've got clients who say, I just don't even get served at the bar. And just think, okay, well, let's look at what's going on there, you know? Or in singing lessons, you've got someone who'll bring a song and I say, okay, let's talk about this song. Because I always ask people to bring, whether it's something they're speaking to practice or singing, say, bring something that really matters to you. Let's talk about why you chose this. And it all starts up here. You know, I chose this because there was one woman that was incredible. She'd chosen oh, do you remember that song that was say something, I'm giving up on you? That one. Oh my gosh, the video, absolutely incredible. But I asked her to bring this song to the session, so she brought the song. Sorry, no, I asked her to bring a song. She brought that song. And I said, why did you choose it? And she hadn't even thought I would ask that question. But I know that every time someone brings a song, there's a story behind the song, in the same way that we have a story behind everything we do. What did she tell me? Oh my gosh. This is when I realized that my singing lessons are not about singing. They're about self-expression, authenticity, finding your inner voice and letting it out. As a person, who am I? What do I want? She said to me, I'd just given birth to my son. It makes me tingly just even telling the story. She'd just given birth to her son. He was put into her arms, and the doctor, what do you call them? The consultant said, "Your child isn't going to survive." And can you imagine that moment?
What?
Can you imagine just what happens in what goes through your mind, what happens in your heart? Just everything's imploding, exploding, everything, and suddenly I realised there's so much more to this type of finding your inner voice work than just singing. And that's where I kind of realised we can go on a journey and talk about what's going on there for her. Because I'm not a therapist, I didn't, you know, do CBT or anything like that. And I always refer people if necessary. But sometimes there's a start point. In the same way that someone will come and say, I want to talk about my elevator pitch to promote my service or my product. So, okay, great, let's look at it. And so what I do is get people to tear it all apart and lay it out in such a way that becomes a useful script for you, but not a script you're going to read all the way through from beginning to end. But those people who come with that elevator pitch actually want to start by looking at their self-esteem, but they don't know it. They just know that they want to be able to say what it is that they do about their product or their service that they feel really passionately about. So I just take a few steps back and we realise that their reason for coming here is nothing to do with just elevator pitch. It's about so many more things, and that's what I love about the work, because what I'm doing is enabling people to let themselves out, really explore who they are, and say, right, we've gone through this sort of muddy, earthy space of I don't know who I am. I don't know if I belong here. I don't know what I want to do with my life, or I'm doing this and I'm not happy, or this is my product, but I think actually I'm doing websites and I should be doing quantum physics or something else. And taking people on that journey and saying, all right, now let's get you to shine. And how are we going to do that? Is it going to be a blog? Is it going to be webinar? Is it going to be a YouTube channel? Is it going to be you're going to take your product to a company and do a Dragon's Den pitch? Because I've worked a lot with entrepreneurs who want to, you know, pitch their product. And to get someone from, I don't know how to do this, to I'm doing it, and helping them carve out what is really right for them, make mistakes, make more mistakes, and a few more, practice again, get it wrong, practice again. Like when someone's practicing with me, I'll say, right, let's do this, just repeat that bit there. And they'll do it once and they'll go, I haven't got it quite right. So, no, you haven't. Let's do it again. Right. So, do it again. Okay. After the third time, they'll do it. And I'll go, that's great. Now you've done it right once. Now we have to practice it and get it right like 10 times before you can say, I've started this process of really feeling I've nailed it. Because otherwise, it's just a bit of luck, really. And if you want to get up and be able to speak confidently in any context, then you need to practice it. And so that's where I come in. I'm there to hold you to account, to walk through with you, get you to trip up and make lots of mistakes, and practice, 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 so that you feel confident. I know.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. And like, I love what you said about, this woman who brought this song and actually, that maybe the reason that they're coming to you isn't actually the reason that they're coming to you. And it's a bit, I suppose it's a bit like peeling an onion, is it? Where, the layers start to come off and you sort of going deeper and deeper into what is really required. And how interesting for you and also for the people you work with. It must be a really transformative journey that they're on. It sounds amazing.
It is. It's
I
beautiful
want to do
seeing
it.
paint. Well, there's this is a bit
and it's
about.
really what you said about the practicing part as well, because I've been looking into the sort of the non-violent communication stuff that I mentioned at the beginning, and a key part of that was practicing. And I think we underestimate the power of that preparation and practice sometimes, whether it be for a difficult conversation with our co-parent, our teen, our, whatever in our personal life, or whether it's something in our professional life. And I suppose that comes from the fact that it's uncomfortable, isn't it? And actually we're like, oh right, I've got it, it will be okay, sort of thing. And you sort of kid yourself that you have maybe got enough preparation under your belt, and that you are in a position where you can go into that situation, whatever it is, and be sort of, guaranteed of a successful outcome. I suppose maybe, do you find that people are really sort of like, okay, well, I've done it now, it's okay?
Yeah. My favourite is when someone does it once and then goes, okay, well now.
You're like, again.
I'm a professional and I practice a lot. So I'll practice like a month before something is due to happen, before an event or a speaking engagement. I'll practice because I want to feel in control and confident. So it shouldn't feel like a surprise. That rabbit in headlights moment should not really happen, because if you've gifted yourself the gift of time and breath, and I'll go on about breath in a minute. If we start with time, if you give yourself some time to plan and prepare what it is you want to do, you'll be in control of what happens. It doesn't need to feel like a sudden attack on your senses and your whole experience of like, oh God, I got there and this happened and that happened. And it's like, well, you know what? A lot can be organized and agreed in advance, prepared in advance. So when you arrive, the only thing that should really catch you off guard are things that really could only just happen in the moment. Even to the extent that I was talking to someone earlier today about the value of preparation. If you prepare things in advance, down to the extent that you might say, look, we're going to meet and we're going to talk about something really difficult here. What I think would be fantastic is if you came to the meeting having thought about some of this stuff, made some notes, maybe even share them with me in advance, so it doesn't feel like a sudden, whoa, that's a big surprise, but give me some time to process and assimilate what you've asked of me here. And then I can come prepared with a few options in response to what you've asked me, rather than it feeling like, okay, what are your issues? There they are, right, off you go, see you in a week or month's time, where we really haven't moved ourselves forward at all. I like in-action meetings where you bring the problem to the meeting with solutions. And then you can start to share some ideas rather than feeling like it's just an attack.
Yeah, that's really, really a great point, because I'm thinking now from the parenting side, obviously, but I think, sometimes when you know that you're going to be having these conversations, or you've arranged a time to speak about something, what we bring to the table often is, what we feel the other person is doing wrong. And we either launch in with that, and they've got no time to go, oh, okay, hang on, and really see it, or vice versa, and we feel like we're under attack. So sort of having that right, here's my thoughts, this is what I'm going to want to talk about, you have a think about it, and you come with your response
Yeah,
and your side, or like you say, even maybe sharing that beforehand, so you've both had a bit of an exchange, and
yeah,
can understand a little bit first. I think that's a really, it's a
yeah.
really great tip.
Yeah, things shouldn't feel like this be all and end all moment of like, oh, I can't believe that she's going to ask this, and oh, it's really taking the mick because he's doing that. It's like, in the end, you want what's best for your children, and you want what's best for the two of you, so you can all move forward in your life steadily, positively. No one wants a hostile environment for a child to grow up in, do they? And you don't want to go forward with your life feeling like you're stuck. So
Yeah.
it's who comes up with the rules? When I trained in law, it wasn't long before I realised you really don't want to go to court because it's a lot of money. It's not necessarily about what's just in the end. A lot of law um, cases are thrown out on what's called voir dire. It's like a point of law. So if someone made a mistake, for example, in when they put something in the post and when it was deemed to arrive, simple things like that. If those things aren't done properly, it throws a hiccup in the process. And actually, it shouldn't be about that. We're talking about people with beating hearts. People who loved one another perhaps at one point. So you're good people, but just it hasn't worked out. So you want
Yeah.
to find a way of saying, okay, how can we do this in a sensible and meaningful way where our co-parenting or divorce becomes easier than it currently is? It
Yeah,
doesn't have to.
definitely.
It's the same as just was thinking about it. It's a bit like I do a lot of work with funerals and wakes. I love it. I really enjoy that kind of contribution to society because it's such a beautiful, sacred part of life. That departure of someone you love. And people, I get phone calls from people saying, "Okay, can you help me organise the singing side of it?" And I'll say, I'm more than happy to help you organise it. But what you need to know is that you are allowed to make a lot more decisions about what happens than you may realise. And so, if you think about who's going to be there at the event, who's it for? What do you want at the very beginning when you all arrive? What do you want during signing of certain things, or if it's a wedding or a funeral, or when people leave? You can decide those things, even down to things like coffins and how someone departs. There isn't like a hard and fast rule about what happens to a person's body. So have those conversations. Like I do a lot of work around organ donation and trying to get people to think about it. And I know the laws have changed recently, but my mum was a renal patient for 10 years, so she didn't have she needed a kidney. But there was a lot of misconceptions and sentimentality around, oh, I want to keep my eyes. And you think you could help 7 people with your body if you had a donor card. If you needed a heart or a lung, would you not want someone else to offer if they could? So just we get so caught up in what we think we should and shouldn't do, but simple conversations, and even like in how I'm talking now, if I was really keen and excited about it, I'd be talking really fast. This is really cool. It doesn't actually help. So the sort of training I give people is to think about the speed that you talk, how you emphasize the key messages that you want to put across, eye contact, body language, voice, your vocal inflections, all that stuff that makes what feels like a really heightened and emotionally loaded conversation come down to a calmer, still energized, but
Yeah.
a much more digestible conversation.
Yeah, and yeah, that I mean, yeah, the way we speak is, not necessarily just the content, isn't it? It's all of those things, like, you said the emphasis on what sort of words and the speed and our tone and, all of those things which can really feed in massively to, well, they do, that, they have a massive bearing on how that
Mm.
conversation is, how it goes and the outcome, and how everyone feels after it, because that's really important, isn't it? And whether
Mm.
people feel heard, and that their that their point of view's been respected, and all of those sorts of things as well. And I didn't realize that you had experience with, being involved with people's funerals and everything. I mean, your experience, Aneesa, is amazing, isn't it? You've worked with you know, I mean, when I was chatting to Aneesa or messaging her, going, you know, what am I going to say about, you know, trying to sort of condense it into a post, which would sort of, you know, encapsulate really what Aneesa does, but it's really difficult because, you know, the whole thing about I know you do a lot with performance and everything and all of that, but you know, this finding our inner voice and just, you know, that, and how we engage, because you know, if we think about all of those really important moments in our lives, and you know, all of those conversations in all aspects of our life, you know, it's really, really key, isn't it? And this stuff isn't taught in school. I mean, there's a really small part of teaching that sort of covers, you know, this sort of aspect of our lives. So it's just really interesting hearing you talk about all of these different sort of elements to it.
Yeah, and you know what I really love about me is I feel like I was gifted with so many things from my parents, my ancestors, my friends, my family. So, you know, when you think about what's your skill, what's your raison d'etre, why are we here in life, what do you want to do? And it took me a while to work it out. And you know, I have doubts, as everybody else does in life, about all of the sorts of things that you experience, self-doubt, you know, am I good enough? Will I get this opportunity? Etc., etc. It took me probably 5 years before I was grounded enough in the work I do to not worry about money every single day. And I was really grateful for that when that turning moment occurred. And that was due to my partner kind of saying, you've got to stop worrying about money the way you do. Money is your friend, it's there to help you. And I just had to change my whole attitude towards it. But then working out, you know, what is it that I can contribute while I'm alive? We're only here for a few minutes. My mum used to say, you know, your life here on earth is like a teardrop in the ocean. And it's so true. It's like you have to just make the most of your life and go for it, really like love it and live it fully, because it's like a sail, when it's gone, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I remember, you know, without being too morbid, I remember at her funeral, and Muslim funerals are very beautiful. They're very, well, like any funeral, very respectful. But there's one bit where the person is just literally washed with cotton wool. It's like a symbolic thing. They're wrapped in a sheet, and it's just cotton wool. And I remember being there with like the closest of people in our it's only girls and immediate family, so my brothers and my dad. And then we brought into the mosque for everyone to say their final goodbye. And I just remember the Moldy, the person giving the sort of service, saying, we all expire. And I just thought, what a strange thing to say about human beings. And I thought, it's true. You know, we do. We don't know when that expiry date is for any of us. We get up in the morning, we just get on with life and assume that we will be there at the end of the day to kiss our loved ones and give them a hug and snuggle up. But the truth is, you don't know. So you've got to stop letting all of this other stuff control what happens in your life, and you take control of it. So simple things that I've learned along the way, everything I learn, I want to share and pass back. And that's what I've been doing for years. It's like the infinity cycle. I learn, someone teaches me something, I do something with it, I digest it and pass it back out. I learn something, I do something with it. So as a singer or as a public speaker, there are lots of tips and techniques. And one of those things is around breath. If you can control your breath, or silence, suddenly you are in such a powerful position. So one thing you can all do this week is every single day, just play with silence, like where you would feel the space. Don't. Doesn't have to be a sinister moment, but just embrace it and just ask yourself, if I didn't answer that question at that moment, I just smiled and nodded, acknowledging, actively listening, what would change? Or when someone riles you up, you could have the choice to respond, but you choose not to. You just let the silence work its magic. It's incredible what can happen, because it can diffuse a situation in a split second, or it can give you this feeling of power and empowerment to say, I'm going to channel my energy now into a different direction. Because just that silence for a few seconds gave me that thinking time or that space, that big deep breath that you take when you're feeling really loaded and angry. So take a deep breath. Don't do anything. As you take that breath, everything slows down. So an exercise I've been doing quite a lot on the lives recently is around breath. Want to do it?
Yes,
Come
let's
on
do
then.
it.
Right. So I have to say, I love your head, by the way.
My what?
Your hair.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just had it done.
Oh, it's stunning, isn't it, everyone? Yeah, you want to hit up more with some comments about her hair. So,
I love
okay,
your
so
hair too, Aneesa. Anyway,
my
come on,
hair's
back to
just
the breath.
my hair's
You had
basically.
yours cut a little while ago, didn't you? But I love it.
I do too. I mean, I don't know what to do today, but it's we're having fun. Okay, right. So, breath. When you're nervous, where do you think your breathing resides? Yeah.
Yeah, up here. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. When you're taking a breath in, where do you breathe into?
What? What normally?
Yeah.
Stay in your tummy? Up here?
So they're both correct, but the distinguishing feature is about the depth of your breath and the quality of it. So if you can learn to control your breath, say you're feeling anxious or angry, furious, or nervous, you can control your breath. You can help everything slow down, and you can control everything. Okay, so take a breath in. I'm going to give you 3, 2, 1, go, and then all I want you to do. You're doing it already, I can tell.
Sorry.
I'm trying to do an exercise here with everybody.
Sorry, I'm not totally into breath work. Sorry, I won't do any. I won't.
I'm just teasing you. Right, so I'm going to just take a deep breath in. Put your hand up when you finish. 3, 2, 1, go. 5. 6. Okay, right. Nice breath. That was actually quite a nice depth of breath. And for a nasal breath, that was pretty low. As in, the depth was good. Not that was really low. Right. So what we need to do is this time we're going to take the breath in. I'm going to demonstrate how I'm going to do it. So instead of doing it through my nose, I'm going to do it through my lips, as if I'm taking in a drink, a breath in through one of those little drinks,
Okay.
cocktail ones.
While you're doing, I just need to plug my computer on. The battery thing just came up. Let me do that.
Okay.
Just a sec. Sorry, I should have.
That's all right. Don't worry.
I
So
should have
people, we're
had
talking
that.
about not a milkshake straw. It's got to be
No.
like a little cocktail straw that you might get in a bar on those days when you could go to bars, which has just started again. Okay, so
Right. There we go.
here she is.
We're not going to run out of battery now.
Plug it
Okay,
in.
good. Right, sorry.
All right, so I'm going to demonstrate first. Okay, so what did we get to? Was it 5? I think it's 5. Okay, so instead of going, you're going to go exhale all your air out, and then you're going to go. But as you do it, I want you to consciously pop your belly out and really imagine that the air is filling up your body like a balloon being filled up with air or water. Okay, so let's do it together. Ready? Opening your lips. Pucker up. Excellent. Exhale. That sounded like a smoker's exhale, but I wouldn't know, All right. Okay, so exhale. 3, 2, 1, go. Your hand up when you finish. '19! Go to the top of the leaderboard. Exhale. Oh my gosh, give me a high five. That was incredible, Laura. That's like the
Was it?
biggest, longest depth of breath of all the people who've done this exercise on Facebook.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
I haven't done that one before, Aneesa, that like sucking through the straw one, but I have been working a lot on breathing because for me, breathing does really help to keep me calm. And when I'm bless you.
Excuse me. Right. Sometimes I get 4, 5, 6.
Oh, Aneesa, I love chatting to you. Um,
But yeah, but you just had to hit the nail on the head, which was, what does breathing slowly do? Deeply and slowly, it helps you.
Relax.
Yeah, exactly. So what would have been like very shallow
Yeah,
breathing
up there.
it slows everything down. It helps you calm down and really ground and center yourself. And it's such a simple thing to do. Literally, it took like 19 seconds. So if you can
Yeah.
find a way to just employ that exercise when you're starting to feel riled up or stressed, it's not about saying, "Oh, look, calm down, you can't control yourself." It's about saying, "I'm gifting myself something right now to help me. It's going to help me to take control of what's going on, so that I can just center myself and then jump back in." These
Yeah.
things, like the finger exercise, the breathing exercise, they're things that you can just take anywhere, and no one really knows you're doing it.
No, you don't have to do it like we just did it, did we? You know, going,
When you're practicing it, it is good to be audible, because part of finding your voice and learning how to let it out is being comfortable with what you hear and what you physically experience. So if you don't know what it feels like to kind of accentuate yourself fully and what it feels like, to really say to yourself, "This is what I feel like when I'm feeling good." If you don't ever get
yeah.
yourself to that stage of this is who I can fully be, you're always going to be shortchanging yourself in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting as well. I hadn't thought of that. So the practicing with the, sort of making that noise in your space, isn't it, and putting it
Mm.
out there. But I know that like when I'm starting to feel stressed, and I say to my son, "Mummy's starting to feel a bit stressed," and he'll go, "Do your breathing, mummy," because we do a lot of
Knows
breathing
you
together.
well.
And he says to me as well, and it's really great. And I think it's something that we can involve our children in. And I
Oh
did a
yeah.
post. I one of my first posts in the group was about different types of breath, and one of them was balloon breath, which is. And the reason I said when you breathe in, where do you breathe? Into your tummy, and I said into your tummy. I think it's because I do a lot of personal practice about getting air in, and it really 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 does help, doesn't it? And I
Absolutely.
suppose, like you said as well, about I loved what you said about using silence and the power of silence, and actually just sort of nodding and acknowledging and smiling, but not actually having to fill that sort of space with a response or whatever, what you were going to say as well. I think in a lot of situations in our lives, with our kids, with our co-parents, and everywhere else in life as well, I think we feel uncomfortable, don't we, with silence?
Mm.
But actually getting used to it and using it in a positive way can be really empowering. And you did say, didn't you, let's all do that this week. So I am going to experiment with using a bit of silence, and I hope some other people will jump on board and do that too. And I'll put a post out next week, and I'll see if anyone has done it, because I think that's a really really lovely sort of gentle tip to
Mm.
to try as well, isn't it? Just
Mm.
not feeling the pressure to have to say something and all of that. So
There's something really powerful I found. Someone did it to me once, and I thought, "Oh my God, I felt so angry." So what they did was they nodded as I was venting about something, and they smiled while they were talking. So it wasn't like they were being facetious. It
yeah.
really felt like they were listening to what I was saying. It was just like a smile and nodding. "Oh, right, okay." And at the end
Yeah,
of
that.
my vent, I expected a reply because I'd been getting active listening, but they didn't. They didn't give me a reply or say anything in response to what I'd been saying. And it's almost this feeling of, did you hear what I said? What I just
Yeah.
said? Or are you just choosing not to reply? And what it did was it kind of created this sort of powerful moment where I felt like I'm kind of glad they didn't hear everything. If they didn't, because I feel a bit ridiculous having done my big vent, or if they had, I was almost grateful to them for not responding to the outburst. Because when you speak from a place of anger, it's people don't take you as seriously. They hear
No.
the passion, they hear the anger, and your words they do carry some weight and they have emotion. So I've done a Facebook post recently where I've cried because I've been impassioned about what I want to talk about. But you have to know how to channel that energy in such a way that people are still listening to what you're saying. Otherwise, it's all lost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was one
totally.
thing. My response to them not really responding to me with words. And the other was when I then employed that technique in return on someone else, it was incredible because what happened was what normally would be a case of just filling the space and asking myself, what's the value of my contribution right now to what this person's saying? Do they really need me to respond? Do they just want active listening? So sometimes it's worth saying to someone, do you want me to respond, or is it just to say what you need to say and have a friend to say it to? Because
Yeah.
it isn't necessary that someone needs or wants advice. But by leaving that space there, it also gave me a chance to question what I would normally fill that space with and ask myself, is that really the most meaningful way to coexist at this moment? You
Yeah.
know? So it's really
Yeah.
powerful about that. And something else that I do with clients is talk about learning to sit in your discomfort. So it could be that you're feeling a certain intensity of emotion and you're overcome and overwrought. And again, when I'm working with people and they get emotional, I'll say to them in the first session, it's highly likely that you're going to cry. And that's absolutely fine. It's not about me going, oh, I made you cry. It's just about saying there's a lot of emotion pent up in all of us. And the sheer fact that you're here right now having a coaching session about finding your inner voice, about being able to speak up and speak out, is about you gifting yourself something there. So it's an emotional thing because as adults, we do that less and less and less. We serve, we contribute in the world in so many ways. But the further on we get, the less time you find for yourself, you really have to consciously take a step back and say, am I giving myself any time? Where's the self care? Like you talked earlier about breathing exercises and things like that. You know, so
Yeah.
if you don't start to kind of look at where you are with things with yourself, it's really easy that you lose your sense of identity. And before you know it, you're just going through the motions of you must be on a treadmill going to work. You know,
Yeah.
I say it like people don't have to work, they do, but it's worth taking a step back and just asking yourself, am I happy about what's going on here right now?
Yeah. And I think that, oh, I can hear some feedback. Can you hear it?
I
I'm
can hear a
getting lots
little.
of feedback now.
Mm.
Yeah, I think, that sort of self-care and gifting ourselves with, all of these things that you've been talking about, and, is something that we struggle as adults, and definitely as parents. We're serving, we're doing what we do in the world, but actually taking stock and stopping. And I think as well, when you work with a coach, because I'm working with two coaches at the moment myself, and I've been using coaches for some time, and actually it's one of the things that sort of really helped, or sort of was quite instrumental in me wanting to become a coach, was, it is like you're gifting yourself that sort of, that investment of just that space and that time to sort of really look at whatever it is in your life that you want to look at. And it's really, really something that I think, we do struggle with sometimes, don't we? This self-care and gifting
Mm.
ourselves things, and just filling our own cup. I know it's an old saying, isn't it? You can't pour from an empty cup. But life's
Mm.
so busy, isn't it? We've got so many pressures and stresses and,
Mm.
stuff going on, that actually, if we're outpouring all of the time, we're sort of left, aren't we? This sort of, shell of ourselves, really. And I expect, like me, I'm sure that you find that whole sort of journey and working with a client such it's such an honor, isn't it?
Mm.
It's such a lovely process to be a part of, and enable someone else to be with. So I'm looking at the time, Aneesa, and we've nearly been chatting for an hour. So I'm going to
Another
use that.
record.
I'm going to use that opportunity now to sort of just bring it over, because I've just talked about working with a coach, and I know that you are launching or have been launching an amazing program, a course that you have been launching lately. So if you could tell us a little bit more about that, and then what I'd really like you to do as well is after that, just tell us a little bit about your free Facebook group that we will leave a link to, because I think some of the tips and things that you've been talking about today, it'd be great, and I'm sure people in this group might be interested in coming and joining and just being able to access those things that you're talking about. So if you can tell us a bit about those, that would be amazing. If you've got time.
No, I haven't seen why.
Yeah, bye. I knew it.
Okay, right. So 12-week course coming up. You might think, oh my God, 12 weeks, that's a really long time. Or, 12 weeks. It's 12 sessions where you will meet with me on a Wednesday night, just 6 people in each cohort. And we're going to look at bringing your confidence level up so that you get to a place of, I can do this. And it can be anything that you want to work on around building confidence, around presenting, public speaking, or performing. So we work our way through the modules and start with mindset, which I've talked a little bit about already, and really get into the deep-rooted stuff that's been there for a really long time about the obstacles that you've been facing for years and years, and start to tackle them. Now, as I said, it's not a therapy session. It's just a very practical session where I give you the chance to look at what's stopping you and find a way to remove those obstacles so that you can do some of the things you haven't been able to. And it could be something as simple as going to a meeting and learning how to speak up. So we start with mindset, and then we move on to planning. Because if you don't plan, it's that whole saying, fail to plan, then plan to fail. Now, without being too morbid and depressing about it, you want to change something in your life that isn't working, you need to plan. If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result, basically. So something like doing a presentation requires certain planning, everything from maybe making yourself a crib sheet. I call them script aids because actually they're very detailed and bespoke. But everything from doing an elevator pitch to a webinar to a best person speech or a TED talk. There are all these different types of talk that you can prepare. And I'll take you all the way through the process for each of them. Even Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives, it's a different approach than if you're walking on stage. A lot of the same techniques and principles, but you need to think about things slightly differently. Then we move on to image. And people are like, what are you looking at image? Well, I'll tell you why we're looking at image, because if you don't feel amazing in what you're wearing, you're not going to present brilliantly. And I bring it right down to underwear. And people think, why would you do that? Because if you're not feeling fantastic or sexy or cool or powerhouse, it's got to ooze all the way through you. So you're in control of your fashion wardrobe, and you've got several months before you decide to do some talk. You're going to look at what you're wearing. So for me, I've got trademark clothes I love wearing. It ranges from my shirts and jackets to my heels. And I'm not like a fashion freak, but I have carved out my own style. And for me, it's a lot about colour and accentuating. So finding what works for you, what looks good on you in one context might not look good on you somewhere else. So image, then we look at preparation, and that means taking everything that you've planned, and there's a lot to plan, and making sure all of those little finer details are in place, ranging from, have I got a PowerPoint clicker with me in case something goes wrong? Do I have antibacterial wipes with me if I need to wipe down a keyboard if I'm going to use PowerPoint or Lectern? To bottles of water. You arrive at a venue, have you got public liability insurance? Have you got pack testing on equipment? And all of those sorts of things. Have you booked the hotel? Are they still expecting you? So if you're doing a really important talk to a board of directors, you need to be absolutely 100% aware of what's in the front pocket of your bag. So you can call on those things in an emergency if you need them. For me, it's deodorant. I don't go anywhere without my toothbrush, toothpaste, and deodorant, whatever time of the day it is. Because if I'm going to get up and present, I want to feel fresh. I want to feel like it's the beginning of my day, not like I've arrived and a whole day's gone and I'm pacing around waiting, feeling all hot and sweaty. Change of underwear, change of everything, as far as I'm concerned. It's like, you're going on stage, you're performing to present yourself. That stage might be an interview. So you need to feel great. Give yourself the best chance. And then after that, we do, as I said, so it's mindset, planning, image preparation, then performance. And that means performing to the people within the group. There's only 6 of you doing a Q&A and getting feedback and then adapting it so that our next performance is a public performance where people pay to listen to your talk, whether it's an elevator pitch or a 10-minute TED talk. They will listen to you, and it's a proper real life public experience that you'll get on that course. So on a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock UK time, we'll meet on Zoom for me to deliver the course and do exercises. One other point in the week at an agreed time with the group, I'll be giving you feedback and one-to-one coaching around anything that you're working on at the time. And there's lots of homework throughout the course. So the aim is for it to be really practical. Those other sessions are called practice sessions because you may not have had a chance to practice. So I'll be working with you to help you practice and then help you make those mistakes and, become really robust and strong. And then we will have a series of guest experts. There's some amazing experts lined up. We've got people who are TED Talk organisers, people who've done TED Talks, Toastmasters international speakers, people who have organised those, people who can tell you about storytelling and humour when you give presentations. Someone's coming to talk about your chakras, like your throat chakra, your solar plexus, where your energy is channeled when you speak. So a real mix of people who are going to come and talk as guest experts on the course for your benefit. There's a payment plan. Because a lot of people find money is a big issue, mindset issue, when it comes to gifting themselves with something. Happily go out and spend a few £100 of a weekend or so, but can't bring themselves to spend money on themselves. But the value of the course is such that it's £1,200. You might think, oh my God, that's a lot. But the sort of thing that I'm teaching you, people, honestly, I can tell you, just go online, you'll see pay tens of thousands of pounds for that kind of coaching. And actually, when you break down the hours, you're only paying about 15 or 18 bucks an hour for what you're going to get. Normally, one-to-one coaching is 150 quid. So I think you're getting a bargain. I know you're getting a bargain, and I know it's life-changing. So
when you break it down like that, that's amazing. That's amazing. And it is funny what you say about, people people struggle to sort of invest in themselves and gift themselves these things, and it is a real mindset, especially especially in our country. I know friends in the States, they spend, they gift themselves with all sorts of, programs and things, and don't think twice about spending the money. But over here, it's a little bit different, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, that's amazing. 15 quid an hour or something. I mean, that's
when you work it out. I mean, I think the early bird just finished. It was just 200 quid less, but in the end, I've got to that point in life where I just think, if you want to invest in yourself, if you want to make a change in your life, you should invest in yourself. And yes, it's going to cost money because there's value in what you're getting, but you're not just going to have that for that 12-week period. What you'll get is something that will hold you in good stead for the rest of your life. I've got one person signed up who's already had coaching with me in the past for interview technique. She got the job, but now she wants to work on a presentation, or a couple of presentations that she's got to give mid-June. So we've only got about 10 days or so to go. But she's also signed up to the course because she knows that this is exactly the stuff that's going to hold her in good stead in the future. Because the more you can use this opportunity to practice, not just over a one-day, half-day course, but over a 12-week period, it's like going to the gym. If you go to the gym 12 weeks, you're going to look and feel a lot better, both mentally and physically, than if you just go once. So think of it as an opportunity to really hone those skills and make a difference to your life, because that's what's going to happen. And you get me!
And you get Aneesa as well. So let's face it, sounds like a great opportunity. So that's more for the sort of performance type of stuff. So what's your group called, Aneesa? And you'll put a link in afterwards, won't you? Drop a link in. So your group, is that more for performance as well, or is there some more general sort of stuff in there?
No, it's general. So it's called Public Speaking, Performing and Practice, Performance Practice Group. But actually, the whole point of the group is to bring whatever it is that you want to work on and practice those things. So, for example, you might be wanting to build confidence with just speaking up and out. So the first thing I ask people to do when they get there is just introduce themselves And a lot of people are quite happy to write a little message and say, hi, I'm so and so. But if I said, okay, do a video stuff, just tell me your name and one thing that you feel really passionately about, there's a kind of like,
Yeah.
so it's
Oh
just
my
trying
God,
to
not a
courage
video.
and have
Yeah.
encouragement from me and other people in the group to say, you know what, you can do this. So it's sort of a mix of things, everything where every day you'll get asked a different question and you can answer it however you like. You don't have to answer it at
Yeah.
all. But the opportunity is there. They're saying, this is a space for you. It's free. If you want to ask me something,
Yeah.
you can ask me. If you want to ask someone else something in the group, they're there to support one another. One of my favorite things about being an entrepreneur is this concept of we straighten one another's crowns. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's not about feeling like you're on your own and you're doing it alone. Yeah, of course we can, but I'm not where I am in life because I did it on my own. I did it because I've got a really supportive and loving network of people around me. And if I'm working with people who haven't experienced that, like I know a lot of people I met when I was at uni, I was really shocked to know that people didn't have really healthy relationships with their parents. And they,
Yeah.
you know, really strained relationships. And I thought, but you know what? Then my job is going to be to make sure that those people have a great time in my company. So that is
Yeah.
a form of love. That's a form of friendship. That's like sharing knowledge and saying, I've got your back. You're not alone. And that's what this community
Yeah.
does. Saying, I'm here to look out for you as well. And if I need something, then hopefully you look out for me. But it doesn't have to be reciprocal. You know, you give in one hand, and from somewhere else in the world, something will come back. It's that whole thing of kindness that
It's
we all
your
know.
infinity thing again, isn't it? It's your infinity, everything getting fed back. So amazing. So anyone who's more interested in confident speaking, speaking out, finding your inner voice, asking you any questions about things, getting more of those tips, can come and join you.
Yes.
Amazing. That's fabulous. And I'm in your group, Aneesa, and I must admit I love it. And yeah, there's lots in there, guys, that I think anyone would find helpful and useful, because let's face it, we communicate all day, every day, don't we? And we can, you know, any help that we can get around things that we find difficult in it, fantastic. Now, let me see. Where are we? Where's the... Oh, it's there. It's right there. 1 minute. Sorry, 1 hour and 2 minutes.
I know.
Wow.
It's the record as well,
Wow.
Laura.
It's my longest live. It's my longest live. But listen, Aneesa, we'll wrap it up there, because
Yeah.
otherwise we won't get anything else achieved. But it's been so lovely having you and your amazing energy, and you know, just I always love speaking with you and seeing you, because
Likewise.
it definitely lifts me up. And yeah, just thanks for your time today and those tips as well. I'm definitely going to use that little one as well.
Any
That's
more of those comes
really...
on, sign up to the course so that you'll get loads of them.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, you take care. And if
Thank
anyone's got any questions about anything afterwards and they want to drop it in the comments,
you.
do. Aneesa's going to drop in there the link to your group, in Facebook, so you can just press on that and join. And have a lovely day, everyone. And Aneesa, you have a fab day too. Lovely to see you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye bye.